Hello everybody, welcome to the third video on the heat transfer tutorial series. So in the last video we went over the basic Fourier's law of conduction and saw what criteria needs to be met for a very constrained thermal system, what criteria needs to be met for the system to have a linear temperature gradient. So in this lecture I would like to first clarify one concept, which is the units of K or the thermal conductivity, right? So from Fourier's law of heat conduction, we know that the heat flux, right, is nothing but minus K dt dx, right, if this is an exact derivative. Now this is in watts per square meters and this is in degrees per meter, right? So by dimensional analysis, the units of K shall come out as watts per meter square into meter per degree, right? So the units of K will be watts per meter degree. Now the reason I am representing temperature differences in degrees is because degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit or Kelvin doesn't make sense here, because they are temperature scales based on set points, right? So the Celsius scale is based on the freezing point of water and the melting point of water. But when you're taking temperature differences, the differences between 2 degrees, then the difference is expressed in degrees and the scale, the temperature scale doesn't actually hold water here, which is why we've represented it using degrees, right? So that being done, and this is exactly how the thermal conductivity is defined, right? So the thermal conductivity is defined as the heat flux, let's say in the x direction, divided by the temperature gradient in the x direction, right? I am purposefully denoting the temperature gradient by different signs and symbols so that your concepts regarding these are clear. This just means the temperature gradient, and this means the temperature gradient at the limit when we are taking infinitesimally small elements, right? So that being done, I would like to introduce you to another concept, which is known as the heat transfer coefficient, right? The heat transfer coefficient is defined as H, right? And it is defined simply as the ratio of the heat flux that is transferred to the temperature difference between the source and the sink, right? So before we go further, let's just set this as an aside knowledge, right? We'll come back to the heat transfer coefficient a little bit later on, but before that, let us introduce you to another concept called the electrical analog, right? So it's called the electrical analog, right? So the purpose of this exercise would be to model a thermal system in terms of electrical circuit parameters, right? So from the basics of electricity, we know that, let me just draw the circuit here, right? So if you have a potential E1 at one end and E2 at another, so you will have a current that flows through the system, I. Here I have assumed that E1 is greater than E2 and hence the direction of current, right? So the resistance, so there will be a resistance, right, which impedes the flow of current between the potentials, right? So this resistance is defined as, and this is very important, this permeates across all fields of engineering, of physics. The resistance is essentially defined as the potential divided by the flow, right? So for here, for this scenario, what is our potential, right? The potential is the difference between E1 and E2, right? So our resistance in this case will be, our potential is E1 minus E2. This is the cause of the flow, right? And the flow is nothing but I. And you will recognize this as the very basic Ohm's law, right? Now, if we were to do the same for a thermal system, how would it look like, right? So keep the electrical system in mind and see that a thermal system is not very unlike an electrical system. Here, instead of having different voltages or EMFs, we have different temperatures, right? And instead of current flowing, we have heat flowing, right? And so basically here as well, the thermal resistance can be defined as the potential divided by the flow, and the potential here will be T1 minus T2, and the flow here will be nothing but Q dot. And here also you can draw a further analogy, in that current is nothing but the flow of charge, right? So sorry, I'll just to avoid confusion, let's go with small q, right? So charge per unit time, right? And here also we know that it's nothing but the total heat flowing per unit time, and that is what makes the analogy stronger. So the bottom line is that the thermal resistance can be defined as the temperature difference divided by the heat flow, right? The potential, this is the potential and this is the flow. Now we go back to our concept of heat transfer coefficient, right? So remember this formula. Now we are going to do some jugglery with it so that we get some good insights. Now for conduction, Fourier's law of conduction states, okay, let's take magnitude, so no negative symbol now. So this will be K delta T by delta X, but this is per unit area. So if I wanted to write down the heat flow rate, that would have to be multiplied by the area, right? Now that we have this, so our heat transfer coefficient can be defined as the heat flux divided per degree difference, right? Now from here we can take the heat flux, right? K del T by del X into 1 by delta T. So delta T cancels out, and you're left with K by del X, right? Now let's go for resistance. The thermal resistance is defined as the potential, which is delta T, by the flow, which is Q dot. Again, replacing Q dot from this equation right here, we can see that this is nothing but delta T divided by Ka del T by del X, right? Again, delta T cancels out, and you are left with del X by Ka, right? Now look at these results, right? So this is the value you've got for H, and this is the value you've got for R. Now they look terribly similar, right? So if you look closely, you will see that H is nothing but K by del X. Here also we have a K by del X, so this can be written as 1 by H, right? So R can essentially be written as 1 by H times A, and that is something that holds true for conduction. The thermal resistance is the inverse of the product of the heat transfer coefficient and the area through which heat transfer is occurring. Now just to wrap up this lecture, we'll go over the dimensions of the following, right? So let's revise first. This has a dimension of watts per square meter. This is heat flux. This has a dimension of watts, right? So if we go for heat transfer coefficient, okay, heat transfer coefficient will have pardon me, I don't know what happened with the highlighter. Yeah, so the heat transfer coefficient is the heat flux, right? So it's watts per meter square per degree difference, right? So H will have a unit of watts per meter square degree, right? And resistance is nothing but the potential, which is the temperature difference, by the flow, which is Q dot, and that gives you degrees per watts. So from this video, your main takeaway should be the concept of the heat transfer coefficient H, the concept of the electrical analog and the thermal resistance R, and finally the relationship between R and H, which is especially true, which is actually only true for conduction. So if you've understood this, and if you have any doubts remaining, you can leave it in the comments below. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much.